Chris Anderson, CEO of Ximen Mining. There's a couple of things that we need to go over there. We actually, we'll get into the property here. This is actually a picture of the Kenville gold mine, and we now own this 100%. We have acquired it and exercised our options and bought all the NSRs out on this property as well. So this is a picture with a couple of grizzly bears that are wandering down the pathway there one day. I'm going to be making some forward-looking statements, so please, if everybody could, I'm not an investment advisor, please seek advice from your own investment advisor. Again, I'm an optimistic businessman and we're running a company, we have to be optimistic. So on the share structure, we've got 71 million shares out, 20 million warrants out at 64 cents, a couple million options out at 54. Price range between 26 to 80 cents, and we're currently trading around in the mid 30s. Myself, I'm in around own 8% of the company. We trade on the TSX Venture Exchange under the symbol XIM, and on the US exchange under XXMMF, and over in Frankfurt as well. We're focused on being the next significant high gold producer in southern British Colombia, and which is one of the key mining districts in the world, I think, especially working in southern British Columbia. We don't need a helicopter to drive to any of our properties. I mean, get to any of our properties. So here's the slide here. We'll just start off. If you look at our key properties here, we've got the Kenville Gold Mine, which is our #1 focus. And it's up in the top right-hand side there. And that's just outside Nelson, BC. And then if you go straight across, you'll see the Brett Epithermal Gold Project. That's a project that it's an epithermal project in southern British Columbia. It's had a bulk sample done on it, quite a bit of drilling done on it, and underground development done, which I'll get into in a little bit. We own the Treasure Mountain Silver Project over, going a little further to the left. It surrounds the past producing Huldra Silver Mine. We've got over 10,000 hectares there. That's currently under option with another company. We've got, and then if we swing back down towards the bottom, there's the Amelia Gold Mine. The Amelia Gold Mine was the second gold producer put into production in BC. And the Kenville Gold Mine, that we own, is the first gold mine that was ever put into production in BC. And that was in 1888. We move along a little further, we get into the gold drop area. This is in Greenwood, BC. And I'll get into explain that a little bit further. We auctioned that property off, and another company owns that 100%, and we have quite a big significant ground in and around that area as well. So our land packages were probably about 80,000 hectares in southern BC, and you know, we're targeting to be somewhere, have the opportunity to be somewhere between 8 to 10 million ounces of gold in all our exploration properties is our target. Portfolio target. The Brett Epithermal project, we think, got the potential to be a multi-million ounce gold project just on its own. We've paid several $1 million for that, and I've overseen over $5 million of development on that project alone myself. And in the Greenwood camp, we've picked up quite a bit of holdings, some crown grants and significant land holdings in and around that. It's a very prolific area. The Phoenix copper gold mine that was in there was the first producing open pit copper mine in southern BC that fed most of the First World War. And there's multiple high-grade underground gold mines all in that district there. So we've built quite a land position in there. And then our main focus is the Kenville Gold Mine and area. The Kenville Gold Mine area here is just outside of Nelson, as you can see. So we've got our own mine road that drives up there. It's the Kenville Gold Mine. Again, it was established in 1888. And produced on and off right up to the late 90s. And the last man to take ore out of there was a gentleman named Lloyd Penner. And Lloyd Penner is our current mine manager and overseeing our operations there. So in our land package here, as you can see on the next slide, we got 20,000 hectares just focused in on this area. What we've done is we just recently announced the Star property. That's a series of 25 crown grants that we just recently acquired. That was held by a group of 4 individuals in 4 families since the 1950s, and we just acquired that. So we've we built quite a land package in there, but north of the star is really where we're focused, and that's the Kenville gold mine. So we own the crown grants for the Kenville gold mine. We own the surface rights and underground rights. And I'll get into the rest of the package here. It was a high-grade gold producer starting off in the 1880s, and multi-ounce material that's been pulled through there. Sorry about that. Multiple high-grade gold veins. It was, as I said, it was drilled. It was mined right up until the 1990s. And last man there was Lloyd Penner. In the 1990s, they stopped mining, and Lloyd didn't go back in there until early 2009 to do some extensive drilling, is what we've and discover what we're going to be working on here. Currently, what we're doing is we're extending permits to do a 1,200 meter decline into a new area that was drilled off by Mr. Penner in 2009 to 2012, and we plan to roll into a 10,000 ton bulk sample, and then from there move into a small mining permit, and we're targeting 125 ton a day half ounce material for the next 15 years is what we'd like to see. We don't need any net capital. As you'll see as we get into this, after our bulk sample recovery, we should be a self-sustaining little operation and hopefully use the funds from here to expand and grow the rest of our property portfolio. So we own the surface rights and the underground rights, as I mentioned. Historical production in here has been over 65,000 ounces, fairly high grade. We own the buildings and infrastructure are in here now. So we do have all the buildings. This picture on this historical slide here, this is no longer in. They had a mill in there, but that's not in there anymore. That building's actually gone. These are what the buildings look like today. And we've refurbished them all. So they're all up and running. We've had a crew on there working since 2019. We've been in there refurbishing the whole site. So we've been prepping for operations. We've gone in here, since 2009, this is the area that was drilled off. The original, this round circle area here is the area that we're targeting. We're planning on doing a decline starting from here all the way down through all this new drilling down here into what we call the glory zone down here in the bottom, the sweet spot down here. This was the past producing Kenville gold mine, these blue areas up here. And so for most part, that was all mined out. And that's where Mr. Penner stopped. He took the last bit of ore there. So in 2009, 10, 11, there's a 750 meter strike zone here. None of this was drilled down here in the south. And they started drilling down here, and the veins continue down here. There's a forest of high grade veins down in here. Some of the best veins drilled on the property. And this is the area that we're targeting. So what we're planning on doing is going down through all this has been drilled down in here. There's a series of high-grade gold veins running down in here. We're planning on putting a decline from surface down here, 1,200 meters all the way down there. And as we get into it, we'll roll into a bulk sample in here. And then we're training and managing our guys as we go through. And when we get down to the bottom down here, we should be into permits, amending of permits as we go. We should be into a 125 ton a day operation mining half ounce. It's small, but it's very profitable. Looks like it could be very profitable. Again, we bought all the equipment, so we own our equipment. It's new, it's paid for, it's on site, ready to go. For the most part, we've tried to be environmentally safe. So we've got our environmental footprint is very small. We've tied into the Kootenay Dam, so we're electric powered. We're using pneumatic drills underneath that we own. We have one diesel machine that we'll be using. That'll be this one right here. Again, all the engineering's done. Here's a shot of the dam that we've tied into the Kootenay Dam with, and so again we're electric where possible, and this just shows you some more extension of the veins and the high grade that's down here that we're planning on mining some samples of how high grade it is, over half ounce material in here. And this is the mill that we're planning on taking it to. It's down in Greenwood, so it's about a 2-hour drive. It's 200 ton a day capacity. The mill ran for about 8 months. It's mostly new. It's got one of the 2 lined tailings ponds in the province. And again, when we get into the environment, the water's clean, it's pristine, it's beautiful rock, it's very stable. It's tombstone granite. All the original workings in the underground are in place. Nothing's collapsed. There's no contaminants in any of the rock or the waste rock. We've hired some of the best firms, SRK, Massey Environmental, to do all our work. We've got all our baseline studies done on the water, and that's a shot of me actually taking a drink of water coming out of the old portal. We set up our war rooms, so we've got a catalog of all the drill holes from the 1940s forward. That's all done. We know where everything is. We've digitized and put it all together, that whole database, so we know what we're working on. And then recently we opened up the 257 portal, and back in the 1800s, they went in through part of the mountain where they used some old timbers where it was to get to the main part of the tombstone granite. So we just refurbished all that, put in a new culvert, and tied in the railroad. So now we have complete access to all the underground working that's in there. There's a couple of interesting opportunities that are in there as well that we're taking a look at, but that's all open and stabilized now. I think we did a very good job. I think the department's very happy with what we did in there. What we're planning on doing is when we get our permit in that we hope to get soon, we'll start breaking rock. So we're ready to go. We got all the equipment on site. We're tied in. We got power. We got men, and we're ready to start breaking rock as soon as we receive the permit. And we're in the final stages on that now. And then this is the Brett Epithermal project. This was one of the key assets in the company prior to acquiring the Kenville. And we own this 100%. We've paid several $1 million for this and spent several $1 million in development. And I've personally seen over $5 million in development on this asset myself. And we opened up the portal in there. We've done extensive drilling from one end to the other. It's 3 major gold systems in here. There's low grade and high grade in here. So there's multiple opportunities. Our plan now is to go in and do some underground drilling. There's some parallel structures we want to drill into. And we also have a surface program that's approved now that we'll probably get into as soon as the winter breaks here. And we got some further surface drilling we want to do in this area as well. You can see it's got good road structure all the way up, the logging roads built in there. So we got a good land package in there, over 20,000 hectares. It's safe out of the way, good project. I think it's got multi-million ounce potential in there. And we're looking forward to getting in there and doing some underground drilling and some surface drilling. This is the Greenwood camp in Greenwood, BC. The orange ground in there is the ground that we optioned off. That was called the Gold Drop property. We optioned that off to another company, so they own that 100%. We're a significant shareholder in there. Do have an interest in it from that perspective. In the meantime, we built up the land package around there. So we have quite a land package in there. We've been doing some work in and around the area. And we're currently, we announced today that we're doing an airborne over some of this as well. So we do down here, we're over the Bud Elk and stuff, an acquisition we made a year or so ago. We're going to be doing an airborne survey over there. We've done some work on the Providence Gold Mine, which is located down here as well. And we're doing airborne over that as well. And we have drill permits in there to go back and do some drilling. The Amelia Gold Mine over here, very interesting project. Super high grade quartz veins in there. It's the second gold mine that was put into production. We've acquired all the mineral titles in the Crown grants, so we're just about completing one other mineral title in there. I would consider that to be a project standalone for a nice junior to come in and take that. We're quite excited about getting the opportunity to go in there, so we're permitting that right now, and we'll be lining up some drilling for that project as well, hopefully this summer. And as you can see, we got several Crown grants in there. We've done quite a bit of prospecting in there and groundwork in there now, so we're prepped and ready to put the drill permits on it. So that's what the guys are working on right now. And then again, this is a little bit about the Providence gold mine here. We've done some work in here. We've done a little bit of drilling. We got some more results to come, and we're doing an airborne over this. As you can see, it's gold and silver and some copper as well in there. So it's an interesting little project. that we're doing airborne on, and hopefully we've seen some stuff in there. We might be able to develop some more targets. And then this is the Treasure Mountain gold mine, Treasure Mountain Silver Mine, that project that surrounds the Huldra Silver Mine right here in the middle. And so this is over 10,000 hectares of land package that we put around outside of that. And it's got a whole bunch of mine showings in and around there. We've optioned that off to another company that's currently doing a bunch of work on there now. So we got to pay a little bit of stock and a little bit of cash. Again, I think that's the end of the presentation. I was told to keep it short for 15 minutes in case there was questions. So I kind of ran through it a little bit. So hopefully if anybody's got any questions, I could answer those.
Thank you, Chris. And we got a few questions here.
Okay.
Let's say the first one from Anne here on the Chinese side. So he's asking XIM, what will be the timeline for XIM to produce gold eventually?
What would be the timeline?
Yeah.
Well, we're ready to go. So if we receive the permit tomorrow, then probably within the next 7 days, we'd be breaking rock. And based on our mine plan that we put together, we'd be down into an area that we consider an area where we'd be doing the bulk permit. So I would imagine that about 12 months since we started is our anticipation to be extracting gold out of the project.
Sure. This one coming from Xiao Yun asking, is that about BC, about permitting in BC, the process give people perception that can be difficult or erratic? Are you concerned about this?
It has been a difficult process, and we have jumped through a lot of stages to go through it, and they've changed a lot of the regulations here. So we've had to approach it from a big mines picture. So we've hired some of the best firms in the province to do our work. The engineering that was done on the original drawing works for our portal design was actually done by Paul Hughes Engineering. Paul Hughes was now appointed as the head engineer for the province. So this particular project, we think will be a model for the project. We've got no contaminants coming out of the water. So we our water baseline studies, everything's gone good. The rock is the most competent rock to be mining in. It's tombstone granite. All the original workings from day one in the 1800s are still standing. There's been nothing collapsed. It's super high grade gold. The quartz veins break away quite nicely from the host rock. The gentleman that ran that was the last gentleman in there mining was Lloyd Penner, and he was the last man to take ore out of there. He's the gentleman that found the extension of the Kenville gold mine veins that we're going after now with the decline. And so we know the ground upside down and inside out. We're very confident in that way. We've seen 2 permits on this prior that have gone through to completion. They couldn't complete because they couldn't get funding till XIM came along. This is the 3rd time that this permit's gone through, but we took it a step further because we approached it. We want to actually go right straight forward into production. So we've done the extra mile to prove that. It's been very difficult getting up to this point, but we are at the final stages. We have done everything that we needed to do, and we're in for the final round of comments and preview. So if we don't get any comments back, I expect a permit any day, and we should be proceeding. We don't have any other capital requirements other than cash flow for paying the staff to doing the work. We've acquired all the surface rights, underground rights, equipment's there, powered up, transformers are in. We've got everything ready to go. We're on standby. So although it has been difficult and a long process to get here, we are here, and we anticipate that this year we will receive a permit and we will be proceeding.
Okay, let's take one last question from Bruce here. Is how much total capital did XIM invest into this project until now?
Well, that's a very good question. I think we're probably, that's a good question. I know that we bought out the NSRs, and they originally wanted, I think it was around 5 million. We negotiated that down to 3.5. And then we spent another million in here. And then I think we're probably in around, it's a guess, in around the 6 million mark at the moment. Originally, I've been chasing this asset for over 4 years, and it was held privately by a small group of oil investors. And they were looking for a multi-million dollar purchase price for a 60 to 70% interest in the project. And due to unfortunate circumstances, and I got to know the shareholders of the company over 4 years, the president of the company passed away. And when he passed away, one of the major creditors, agreed to take XIM shares instead of a cash payment. So we got in, we were very fortunate for us that the shareholders of the original private company took millions of dollars worth of XIM shares as payment for the asset itself. And then we acquired the NSR and then spent several other $1 million on there. So we've got a very significant investment in this, but we did get in on a very good arrangement for XIM. And that share arrangement was done at between 70 cents and 80 cents that they took for their paper for XIM shares. So right now at the price it is now, it's, you know, it's pretty good price point. I would say entry point for anybody else looking at the company.
Sure. So thank you, Chris, for taking the time to share your story with us here today.
Oh, thanks, Gilbert. Good to see you again.